In this video, we are going to have a short tutorial on some 70 MCQs solved in biochemistry. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel after watching so that you can receive every update from this channel. The answers are marked and some of them are wrong, so we are going to look at the correct answers among the various objective questions in this video. So question 1. The most abundant carbohydrate in nature is? So which of these is the most abundant carbohydrates in nature? Is it glucose? Is it sucrose? Is it fructose or what? Well, it's cellulose. Cellulose is the most abundant carbohydrate in nature. It's found in cell walls of several living organisms. So the answer is D. Question 2. Which of the following is a polysaccharide? So is the starch, amylose, amylopectin, or all the above? So all the three options are polysaccharides. So the answer is D for question 2. Question 3. Which one of the following is a disaccharide? So which of these is a disaccharide? Is it fructose? Is it a heptulose? Is it sucrose or galactose? So the answer is sucrose. Sucrose is a disaccharide made of fructose and glucose monosaccharides. So question 3, the answer is C. Question 4. The polysaccharide which makes the cell wall of fungi is? So which of these makes the cell wall of fungi? Is it a pectin? Is it a cutin? Is it a chitin? Or none of these? So chitin is the main polysaccharide which is made the cell wall of fungi. So question 4, the answer is C. Question 5. The carbohydrate which is insoluble in water is? So which of these carbohydrates is insoluble in water? So you have sucrose, you have starch, you have ribose and fructose. So most polysaccharides are insoluble because of their high molecular weight. So the answer for question 5 is B, starch, but starch is insoluble in water. Question 5. The carbohydrate which is sparingly soluble in water is? So which of these is sparingly soluble in water? Is it A, lactose, xylose, paraxylose, or glycogen? So the answer is A, because lactose is sparingly soluble in water. Question 7. Carbohydrates has the same ratio of atoms as its water molecule. So water has one hydrogen atom, two hydrogen atoms, and one oxygen atoms. So that ratio is also found in carbohydrates molecule. Question 8. Carbohydrates are also called hydrates of carbons because they are made of carbon molecule bonded to hydroxy group and a hydrogen atom. So they are called hydrates of carbons. Question 8, the answer is C. Monosaccharide contains 4 carbon atoms in their structure S. So which of these monosaccharides contain 4 carbon atoms? It's a glyceride, erythrose, xylose, or none of these. So the answer is erythrose because erythrose has 4 carbon atoms in its molecule. Question 10. Carbohydrate which is crystalline in nature is? Is it starch? Is it gluten? Is it glycogen or xylose? So the answer is T. Xylose is crystalline in nature. Question 11. Glucose molecule on complete oxidation with oxygen gives how many energy? So when there is complete oxidation of glucose in a respiratory chain, we get an equivalent of 36 net ATPs. Some from glycolysis, some from conversion of pyruvate to acetyl-CoA, some in the Krebs cycle, and the electron equivalent in the electron transport chain. So we produce an equivalent of 38 ATPs, but 2 ATPs are invested in transport of the NADH from the cytosol to the mitochondria through the malate aspartate shuttle or glycerophosphate shuttle. So we produce an equivalent of 36 net ATPs if you refer one NADH molecule to be 3 ATP molecule or T ATP moles and one FADH molecule to be 2 ATP moles. So let's take care of that. Question 12. Starch is sometimes called, so starch is called storage polysaccharide because it is a storage form of polysaccharide in plant. Question 13. Wax is a wax is a simple lipid just made of two molecules, a fatty acid and a long chain alcohol. Question 14. Esters of fatty acids with high molecular weight alcohol is waxes. So as we said earlier, waxes are made of fatty acid and a long chain alcohol or a high molecular weight alcohol. The answer is 14 for question B for question 14. Question 15. Palmitoleic acid contains how many double bonds? So palmitoleic acid has just one double bond present in its molecule. Question 16. Arachidonic acid contains, so arachidonic acid contains 4 double bonds present in its molecule. 17. Which one of the following is a compound lipid? So a compound lipid has a backbone, a fatty acid, and some other groups. So waxes, triglyceride, glycolipids. So the answer is C, glycolipids. Glycolipids has a glycerol backbone, fatty acids, and a carbohydrate moiety. So the answer is glycolipid, because glycolipid is a compound lipid. The lipids that do not contain fatty acid is, so sterols do not contain fatty acids present in them. Fat have fatty acids, oils have fatty acids, waxes have fatty acids, but sterols have no fatty acids. So question 18, the answer is D. Xanthophylls are terpenoids. They are terpenoids because they are made of an isoprene unit monomers. Phospholipids are compound lipids. Phospholipids are compound lipids because they are made of glycerol backbone, fatty acids, phosphate group, and some other alcohol moiety. So question 20, the answer is B. 21. A triglyceride molecule, when used in energy production, produces how many energy? So which of these number of ATPs will be equivalent to a triglyceride molecule? 38 no, 36 no, 108 is possible because it's made of 3 fatty acids which through beta oxidation can yield equivalent ATPs. 64 no. So the answer is C. 38 and 36 are equivalent for glucose molecule. 64 can be equivalent for a diglyceride, but a triglyceride will be equivalent to 108 ATP molecules. Phospholipids contained in the cell membrane are, is it a phosphatidic acid, it is cephalin, the lecithin, or plasmalogen? So the answer is lecithin. Lecithin is made of a glycerol backbone, 2 fatty acids, phosphate group, and a choline alcohol. So these ones are the predominant phospholipid present in cell membrane. So the answer is C. Oils are, is a saturated fatty acid, aromatic, short-chained, or unsaturated? So oils are made of unsaturated fatty acid. That's why they appear liquid mostly in room temperatures. So the 23 answer is B. 24. Which one of the following is true about lipids? So are lipids hydrophobic? Are they lyophilic? Are they having diverse groups? Yeah, they are all true about lipids. So the answer is D. 25. Proteins are made up of monomers called. So proteins are made of amino acid residues made of proteins. 26. Protein contains which type of bonds? So proteins are made of peptide bond, a bond between the carboxylic group of one amino acid and the amino group of the next amino acid. So peptide bond. The simplest amino acid is known as, so the simplest amino acid is glycine. So this one, the answer is wrong. The answer is A, glycine. Glycine is the simplest amino acid. Complex amino acids is known as, so which of these are complex amino acids? Is it arginine, isoleucine, tryptophan, or tyrosine? So answer is tryptophan. It was made of 2 rings, one being a hexose ring and one is a pentose heterocyclic ring. So tryptophan is a complex amino acid. Milk protein is known as, so all milk proteins are known as casein. Casein. Hemoglobin contains how many amino acids? So hemoglobin has an equivalent of about 574 amino acids. It has 4 polypeptide chain, 2 alpha and 2 beta. Each of the alpha has 141 amino acids and the beta has 146 amino acids. So when you sum all of them up, you're going to get an equivalent of 574 amino acids in a hemoglobin molecule. Oh, I got lost. Okay, let me come back here. We got to 31. So 31, in sickle cell anemia, the glutamine acid is replaced by it's replaced by valine. So in sickle cell anemia, the amino acid glutamine or glutamic acid is replaced by valine, which has a non-polar side chain, making it have the protrusion, changing the shape of the cell to a sickle shaped. 32, collagen SA. So collagen is a connective tissue, which is a fibrous protein found mostly in connective tissues. So collagen is a fibrous protein. Albumin of egg white is, so albumin is a globular protein because it's more spherical, so it is a globular protein. Proteins present in chromosomes are called, I think the spellings and the English are somehow wrong here, but I'm going to pronounce the correct words. So this one's proteins present in chromosomes are called, so histones. Histones. Histones are the only proteins present in chromosomes. Deamination of proteins occurs in the liver. So the answer is A, 435. Keratin has secondary structural organization. The answer for 36 is B. Keratin has a secondary structural organization. 37. Insulin contains about 51 amino acids. So insulin has 51 amino acids present in its molecule. Hemoglobin consists of how many polypeptide chains? We said earlier it is made of 4 polypeptide chains, 2 alpha polypeptide and 2 beta polypeptide chain. The answer is B, 438. Insulin converts glucose into glycogen. The process is called glycogenesis. Glycogenesis, where glucose is converted into glycogen. The opposite is glycogenolysis, where glycogen is breaking down into glucose. So the answer for 39 is C. 40. Muscle protein consists of, muscle protein have connective tissues. Actin is 1, myosin 1 is 1, tropomyosin is 1. So the answer is all the above. All these are connective tissues present in muscle proteins. Proteins present in the cornea of the eye. So the cornea of the eye has collagen fibers or collagen connective tissue that enable the eye to bulge, restrict, relax, and contract. So the answer 41 is B, collagen. Myoglobin has a secondary structural organization. So myoglobin has a secondary structural organization. 43. Pentose plus phosphate plus a nitrogenous base give rise to a nucleotide. So we have a pentose sugar, like ribose, a phosphate group, and a nitrogenous base gives rise to a nucleotide. The nucleoside is a nitrogenous base plus the pentose sugar without the phosphate, that gives rise to the nucleoside. So a coenzyme like the NAD and FAD are all nucleotides, but they are dinucleotides because they are made of two nucleotides. So the answer for 44 is B, dinucleotides. 45. DNA contains the following nucleotide except. So which of these is not contained in DNA? Is it adenine deoxyribose nucleotide, thymine deoxyribose nucleotide, cytosine deoxyribonucleotide, or uracil deoxyribonucleotide? So the answer is D. Uracil is the only nitrogenous base present only in the RNA and not DNA molecule. In DNA, between the guanine and the cytosine, there are how many hydrogen bonds? So you have 3 hydrogen bonds between guanine and cytosine. So the answer is C. 46. 47. In DNA, adenine and thymine, there are dash hydrogen bonds. You have 2 hydrogen bonds present in adenine and thymine. So AT has 2 hydrogen bonds, whereas GC has 3 hydrogen bonds. The type of RNA molecule provides blueprint for gene expression is. So messenger RNA produces a blueprint for gene expression. RNA contains a ribose pentose sugar, so they all contain a ribose sugar. The protein part of an enzyme is called apoenzyme. Let's not waste time on this. Apoenzyme is the protein part of the enzyme. The holoenzyme is more of the active form, the apoenzyme plus its coenzyme or cofactor. That's the holoenzyme. Enzymes were first discovered in which organism? So they were first discovered in yeast. Yeast was the first organism where enzyme was discovered in. The temperature at which most enzymes or this enzyme perform its best is called. So the answer is optimum temperature. So this is the temperature at which each enzyme performs best of its activity. Optimum temperature. Enzyme activity is affected by all of the following except. So temperature, pH, inhibitor. The answer is light intensity. Light intensity does not affect directly enzyme activity, but temperature, pH, and inhibitors affect the activities of enzymes. The answer for 53 is D. The pH for maltase enzyme is B 6.1 to 6.8. This is the optimum pH for the enzyme maltase. The pH for urease is the neutral pH, which is 7. The hormone released from the posterior lobe of the pituitary and act as an enhancer of the uterine contraction is called. So the hormone is called oxytocin. Oxytocin, the spelling is wrong here. Oxytocin. So this hormone is released from the posterior pituitary gland and enhances the contraction of the uterus. What did we get to here? The hormone responsible for the disposition of calcium from blood to the bone is called calcitonin. Calcitonin is the hormone that helps to deposit calcium into the into the bones from the blood. The hormone which is responsible for the circadian cycle. So this cycle is the cycle that helps in the sleeping and the waking up of an organism. The hormone responsible for that is called a melatonin. Melatonin hormone. Melatonin hormone. In net, glycolysis produces how many ATPs? So glycolysis produces an equivalent of 2 ATPs through substrate level phosphorylation. 60. ATP produced in the glycolysis is called, so the process is called substrate level phosphorylation, unlike the oxidative phosphorylation in the electron transport chain. NADH on oxidation gives rise to 3 equivalent ATPs. So NADH oxidized to give an equivalent 3 ATPs. One FADH to give rise to 2 ATP molecules or 2 moles of ATPs upon its carry or its transport in the electron transport chain. In photorespiration, how many ATPs are produced? So in photorespiration, I produce an equivalent of 0 ATPs. 0 ATPs are produced in photorespiration. Renin secreted in the gastric function as, so which of this is the function of renin? Is it the curdling of the milk, proteolytic nature, or help in digestion? So all of these are functions of renin produced in the gastric glands, the stomach. So the answer is D. Light reaction occurs in, so in photosynthesis, light reaction occurs in the on the thylakoid membrane, whereas the dark reaction occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast. Hemoglobin contains how many peptide bonds? So we established the fact that they contain an equivalent of 574 amino acids. Therefore, they will have a reduced number of 573 peptide bonds in them. Insulin contains how many peptide bonds? So we said it contains 51 amino acids. Therefore, they will have 50 peptide bonds in them. Proteins are amphoteric because they can act as both acid and base because of the two functional groups, carboxylic group and amino group. The acidic character of DNA and RNA is due to is it the pentose sugar? Is it the phosphate group? Is it nitrogenous base or the base pairs? So the base pairs define the acidic character of DNA and RNA. In photorespiration, how many ATPs are produced? So there are 0 ATPs produced in photorespiration. We have gone back. Let's go down. So here 69 proteins are amphoteric. So the acidic character. Okay, so we are done. We have 70 solved objective questions in biochemistry. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that when we put in every update on the channel, you can receive the post. Thanks for watching.